Hi, fellow traders. I hope everybody had a great start to their week. I hope it was a lot better than mine. Today, the market just wasn't there for me. It was too choppy, didn't really have a lot of volatility in it. Not the kind of market I like to trade in. So I shut it down early, packed it up, and, got everything ready to come back tomorrow. That's how I'm able to put money in the bank every week. A lot of you guys are having trouble with consistency. You can do good one day, but then the other 4 days you end up giving stuff back, or you may even give it back that same day. You're not consistently making profit. And, no matter how hard I try to demonstrate to you every day, this is what you have to do. When things aren't going the right way in the market, you need to stop and stop trying to follow other people that are posting trades that they may or may not take. You don't know. You don't see their trading log, their actual trading log, to see whether they even took the trade. So you can't chase that. You've got to stick to your plan, stick to your process. And if you're following me, if you're learning from me, you've got to stick to that. Until you get to the point where you are consistent, then you start to grow. Then you expand and you grow out and test your boundaries. So I told you earlier this weekend that I was going to share with you some quotes from the Karate Kid. Now, this quote, no such thing as bad student, only bad teacher. I had that quote in my classroom for years and years and years because, what he's saying is he's stressing the importance of good teaching. Because as teachers, we're responsible for inspiring our students, being dedicated and, using our experience to help teach. Now, it doesn't matter how good the curriculum is, doesn't matter where that curriculum came from, who wrote it. If you haven't experienced it, you damn sure can't teach it. You can try, but it's not going to come through as authentic. And students know when you're authentic or not. That's one thing that I always realized and I learned early on in teaching, especially high school students. They know when you're authentic or not. They know when you're faking. And as adults, we know it too. Sometimes we want to believe things so much that we kind of block that out. But it's very, very important that teachers be authentic. And when they're teaching through their experiences. That's why it's important to do that. But also, the responsibility of learning falls on the student. But the student is learning. Learning is a product of the teacher teaching. So if the teacher can't reach the student, learning is not going to take place. And it's not the student's fault. Because we as students, and I'm still a student, in a lot of cases, I'm still a student of everything because this is a lifelong learning profession. And as a student, I have to do my part. And I'm looking for the teacher to reach me. I'm going to meet him halfway or however I can meet him, but I'm looking for the teacher to, reach me and trigger something in me so that I can learn. Prove to me that you can learn from me. So, just a couple of quick thoughts here on a good teacher. A good teacher is going to provide clear explanations, and that's part of actually teaching what they've lived. They're able to give and explain things so that you can understand and you can connect with them because it's real life. And a good student, they actively engage with what you're teaching and they become part of the lesson. They become part of what you're teaching. Um, a good teacher, he takes time to help their students, even individually. You don't have to have one-on-one mentoring sessions with me from you to send me a question or send me a chart to look at or something like that just to get some feedback on. I'm as a teacher, I'm there to help you. So there's nothing wrong, with that. And that's what I'm here for. Every student needs a little bit extra help every now and then. And a good student in that respect knows how to make the most of their time. When you ask a question, you've thought through the process. You explain exactly what you're going through, how you're feeling. You make the most of the interaction. A good teacher also gives constructive criticism and they're honest with their feedback. I can't tell you what you want to hear. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. And that's just the way I am. That's just what I brought over from, being in the classroom. And also, when on the flip side of that, the student has to take responsibility for their own performance. Now, me saying that there's no such thing as a bad student, only a bad teacher, doesn't mean that if you fail, it's the teacher's fault. I do bear some of that responsibility because it didn't seem like I was able to reach you. But you have to take that responsibility. If you don't take responsibility and you fail, it's going to fall on you. It's not that you're a bad student. Again, it's not that. It's that you were not in a position to be responsible enough, to take that responsibility you need to work in this industry. So, I just wanted to share that with you, just some thoughts. A lot of, I get questions sometimes, why do I talk about teaching so much? Because it's a very important thing. And it's my life. It's been my life. It's my profession. And I respect it 1,000%. And, I want teachers to be understood for, what they are and what they give. So just wanted to throw that out there, guys. Sorry for the rant, but I had to put that out there. So today, one quick trade today, and I said pre-market. I don't know about Walmart. Every time I've ever traded it for the last 4 or 5 years, I've never made money on it intraday. Never. I've made money on it on a pre-market trade a couple times, but when I tried to trade it at the open, never made money on it. And today was no different. This was a perfect setup. Okay, now here's the opening candle here. We've got the high and the low. And here we opened and we had a quick dip up, but there wasn't enough time to really take it. It didn't sit there long enough for us to really be able to take this. So it pulled back, and I'm like, you know what? Just remember what you did Friday. You anticipated the break. I could have easily anticipated this break after this strong candle here, but I didn't. It pulled back. Now, yeah, I could have bought it off of this, or I could have bought it here. But we were so close to the opening range high, I wasn't going to, do that. I was going to stick to the strategy. And so once we broke through, we closed above, which is what I was looking for. I was waiting to see if this candle was going to close above this level because it was sitting here for about a minute and a half, 2 minutes trying to push this. It barely closed above it. This candle opened, dipped below it a little bit, And then as it started to come back through, I bought it just over the high of this candle. And that was a perfect entry. The entry could not be any more perfect than that. The setup could not be any more perfect than that. But just like I've been saying for years, no strategy is going to work 100% of the time. You can have a perfect setup, but that does not guarantee the stock is going to work. Because what happens here is you've got to have buyers, or one or two buyers that want this thing to come back up and test the pre-market high. If you don't have anybody wanting to do that or wanting to push this over, you may have some big funds that are short this and they don't want this to go. They might have anticipated this was going to sell off for earnings. And they don't want it to go. You don't know that. That's the thing. And we're going to talk about this tomorrow in our roadmap to success. But if nobody's going to bid this up, it's going to come down. It's going to come back. And, you got to know when it's failing. So I was going to give it, I wasn't going to sit there and wait until we got below this. I felt that if we couldn't hold this level, got to take it off. And I wasn't going to wait for it to test this and all that. I was like, hey, it's just going to fail. And we're not getting the price action. The volume started to kind of go away from it. So no way I was going to re-engage this. This was made the third time it tried. And this thing never got over 104. It never pushed that 104 level. And all day, it never could get there. So this was just a perfect setup that happened to fail. You can't let that, influence you, because tomorrow, if I see this setup, I'm going to take it. Because I know 6-7 times out of 10, over a period of time, this is going to work more times than it's not. So, just take it. And I kind of watched the market. It never did give me any good feel. That's why I never didn't really like any of the earnings. The market just wasn't there. And even the earnings traded kind of crazy. So, it was a smart move. So I'm only down 114.14 going into the week. Still have Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, to come out with a good week. So, it's a short week, one red day. If you're counting money and you have this goal that you want to reach at the end of the week, you're going to start feeling some pressure. But if you don't have a goal, if you just trade what the market gives you and just look at what you have at the end of the week or at the end of the month, you're not going to have that pressure. And you probably aren't going to make mistakes. And you're not going to, put yourself in bad situations. So, that was it for me today. We're going to come back tomorrow. We're going to try to make sure this thing, we get this shit righted. So, we'll catch you guys tomorrow, bright and early, and we'll see if we can get some green on the books.